You might be surprised that I'm talking about this show, or maybe you've never even heard of it, but my mom recommended it to me, so I watched it. It wrapped up last week, so now here's my video, and I am gonna try to keep this spoiler free, just so you know. Alright, let's go. Daisy Jones and the Six. So Daisy Jones and the Six is a miniseries that just wrapped up on Amazon Prime Video. It's based on a book that I never read. And from what I understand, it's kind of a fictional take on Fleetwood Mac, which is an actual rock band that was really popular in the 70s. If you've heard of the album Rumors, yeah, that's them. Rumors was one of the most popular albums of its time, and for good reason, because it's a fantastic album. I love that album. But the story behind it is that the band, while they were writing and coming up with it, there was all this infighting. They were not getting along with each other. They were lying and backstabbing each other. There were love affairs, all of which came through in the lyrics of every track. Great stuff, it really is. So Daisy Jones and the Six is kind of a fictionalized take on that. It starts off Billy Dunn, played by Sam Claflin. He has his band, and they're doing fine, but then they get a new member of the band, Daisy Jones, played by Riley Keough. She has a lot of ideas. She could be just what the band needs, although Billy Dunn doesn't really see it that way at first.
What do you think the song's about?
What do I think the song is about? What the song that I wrote? What do I think the song that I wrote is about?
Yeah, there's instant tension between the two. And this series is all about the band's rise and eventual fall. The lying, the backstabbing, the affairs, and rumors. That's our story. And I thought this series was pretty good. It did take a few episodes to grow on me, and in terms of episodes being released, it was kind of funny. Because it wasn't just one episode per week. It's like the first couple of weeks, it was 3 episodes at a time. It's like 3 episodes, then 3 more episodes, and then towards the end, it was 2 episodes and then 2 episodes. Yeah, kind of weird. I don't know why they did it like that. I really like the characters in this series. The acting all around I thought was really good. Sam Claflin as Billy Dunn. Not only does that actor once again do a solid American accent, but I thought he was fantastic here. This is probably the best acting I've seen from him yet. Because his character, Billy Dunn, he's a douche. I mean, if we're just getting it out there, throughout the entire series, he's an asshole. He's selfish, he thinks he knows what's best for the band all the time. Although I do kind of see where he's coming from. He's talented, what can I say? Like, as a musician, he's really good. Honestly, I didn't know that Sam Claflin could sing. So when Daisy Jones comes onto the scene, her character, honestly, here's the thing. She's a weirdo. She's eccentric. She's kind of a hippie. Hippie's not the right word. She's a free thinker. She doesn't want to lock herself in a box. Her performance kind of reminded me of Florence Welch, who I'm actually not the biggest fan of. Just by the way she moves on stage, she's all twirling around like a weirdo. Every time I was like, girl, why are you doing that? I don't know, I just personally don't usually fuck with that kind of stuff. She'll make crazy decisions on a dime. Like, yeah, I'll move to Greece and marry some prince, why not? Nah, you're just going through some manic episode. Cause you're a famous musician and so you're gonna do weird stuff, I guess. I mean, Riley Keough, she's really good in the show, don't get me wrong. It's just that her character, to me anyway, wasn't always the most likable. That's all I'm saying, really. Another prominent character in the show is Camila, who ends up as Billy's wife. She is really important because I'd say Billy is like one of the main characters of the show. His whole emotional arc is one of the biggest parts of it, and a lot of it revolves around her. She's trying to be his emotional support when he's just going through the ringer, you know, with the alcohol addiction and the affair that he may or may not be having with Daisy Jones. That's kind of cliche. But that's not the only love story in the series. I swear to God, whenever Suki Waterhouse was on screen as Karen, she's the keyboardist, it was so distracting for me. I mean, she's talented as hell, that's for sure. She's a great actress and singer, and she's also fucking gorgeous. I couldn't help myself when I was watching this. I was like, holy shit, I'm in love. I can't believe she's dating Robert Pattinson. Another character I liked is Simone, played by Navia Bay. She's Daisy's best friend, and she's also an aspiring artist. The arc that she gets in this series, I thought was really good. It's kind of disconnected from Daisy Jones and the Six, but I did feel that it was a relevant story to tell within this whole story. It didn't feel shoehorned or anything, which is difficult to pull off, so I gotta give props to the writers on that. Lastly, I gotta talk about Teddy Price, the producer. He's played by Tom Wright, because he had some of the best moments in the show. Some of the dialogue he has with Billy Dunn or Daisy Jones, where he's like, look, this is just how it is. This is just how you're gonna have to do it. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. That's great. For this story being fictionalized, I really gotta commend it for being realistic. I mean, it's rated TVMA, it's for adults, there are a lot of F-bombs throughout, and use of hard drugs. Which, I don't know why, but I always find it really uncomfortable watching someone do the white lines. I just never saw the appeal in that. There are some things in the show that I was not the biggest fan of, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, it took a few episodes to really grow on me, cause it starts off pretty cliche. I mean, you have this band that comes from humble beginnings. They start off playing small clubs, it takes them a while to really find their sound. We've all seen that before. But then after another week or two, I was like, no, I'm getting into it. And I think that's because of how realistic it is. This show doesn't really hold much back. One thing I really liked about it is that it does this documentary style thing where it shows each of the band members they're actually being interviewed in the future. Most of the show takes place in the 70s, but occasionally it'll show the band members and other people being interviewed sometime down the line. I actually thought that was really cool. It gave an interesting perspective on the whole matter. And sometimes when it cut to an interview, it would play it up for comedic effect. Like when something funny was going on, it would cut to an interview and the person being interviewed wouldn't even say anything. They would just give a look and then it would cut back to the scene. That was really funny, I thought. I laughed out loud whenever that happened. But really the best thing about this show is the deep dive it takes into how a band really operates within itself. About halfway through, all the lying and backstabbing really starts. There are affairs within the group, the band members are accusing each other of different things, some things they did do, some things they didn't, and I was like, holy shit, this is getting real. It's so crazy, like when you see them on stage and in the public eye, they're always like so friendly, like, yeah, we love each other, we love doing what we do. But that really was just not always the case. There are points when some members of the group just hate each other. They can't stand to look at each other, and it's kind of like Rumors. I mean, I don't know all the details of what actually happened behind the scenes of making Rumors. All I really know is that I love the music. And I've been told that what happens in this series with the band is not really like what happened with Fleetwood Mac. So I'm probably just talking out of my ass when I say it reminds me of Rumors. But you know, the show does a cliche where there may or may not be an affair with Billy Dunn and Daisy Jones, and Billy's wife Camila gets jealous and she's like, is there something going on between you two? Like Billy and Daisy will be having something of an intimate moment, and I was like, okay, cue Camila because she's gonna walk in on them. That's cliche because that's been done a million times before, or even a billion times before. That's just how these things go. And yeah, that happened a couple of times. That is a couple of points off, I'm not gonna lie. Like the show was predictable at times, and cliche. And also it shows that musicians, and even celebrities just in general, they'll do crazy ass shit sometimes. Like I said, Daisy just on a whim goes to Greece and marries some prince. I'm like, why are you doing that? That's weird. Yeah, she's having some manic episode. That was kind of a low point for me. I was like, really? I just found it weird. Let's talk about the music in the show, because the music is awesome. And yeah, it's cool. The soundtrack was actually released as like a Daisy Jones album called Aurora. I thought that was really clever. I'm a big classic rock fan. I love rock from the 60s, 70s, 80s, across the whole spectrum, from Eagles, Bruce Springsteen, all the way to Rush and Van Halen. And yeah, Fleetwood Mac is definitely in there somewhere. Tusk is my favorite Fleetwood Mac song. So the music in this show from the band is in that vein. It's really good. I might actually get this album. Yeah, I just called it an album. It's like an album. It's great rock and roll. So I'm gonna wrap this up here. Daisy Jones and the Six, I thought was pretty good. Might not make it into my top 5 TV seasons of the year, but if you're a music head like myself, I definitely recommend watching it. The acting is phenomenal, the music is great. The script and the dialogue are a little cliche at times, actually not even a little, like a lot. But you do fall into it because the acting is really good. And the cinematography and the lighting and the set design and everything. The wardrobe is awesome in the show too. Very 70s looks sometimes. I mean, sometimes when you see Simone, she's got the afro and the bell bottoms, I loved it. Straight up 70s looks, she rocks it. I had a good time with this miniseries. So Daisy Jones and the Six, have you watched it? What are your thoughts on it? And what's your favorite classic rock group if you like classic rock? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to catch up on The Power, because that's out now. From one Amazon show to another, I guess. Peace!